Hi, friends. Malika here from Malika Semper Astrology, and I want to talk about the big full moon coming in. So, this whole week, we have the full moon gearing up, leading up to Thursday. The moon will be full in Leo at, let me check my notes, 9:55 a.m. Pacific time. She is going to land at 5 degrees of Leo. So first things first, I want you to check in your own chart and find where 5 degrees of Leo lives. If 5 degrees of Leo lands in your first house in your chart, it's going to affect who you are, your presence, how you show up in the world. If 5 degrees of Leo lands in the seventh house for you in your chart, it's going to affect relationships. So whatever house it lands in your own natal chart, that is the area of life that's going to be affected most by this full moon. So, a full moon in Leo, what can we expect? The energy's coming in collectively. So, Leo is a very heart opening, heart expanding archetype. And what we want to do with this full moon coming in is we really want to drop into our hearts and hear what our heart is saying. It could be really loud with a Leo full moon. Emotions get really expanded and exaggerated and dramatic and theatrical with the full moon in Leo. Leo doesn't do anything small. Leo is here to have really big expression, a generous expression. It's about joy. The ultimate journey for Leo this lifetime is, where do they find the most joy for their heart? Where do those simple pleasures of life land for them? So when we have a big old moon shining down through the archetype of Leo, we really want to drop in and see what this lifetime brings us that joy, brings us that pleasure. And a lot of it has to do with our own creativity, with the gifts that we were given or that we have cultivated this lifetime. So really dropping into your creativity, your form of art, your self-expression, whether that's painting, whether that's music, whether that is being an entertainer. Think big. The bigger, the better, the more extravagant, the better with Leo. Leo is very much the sister sign of Sagittarius. So the bigger, the better, very extravagant. Um, Leo wants us to really open up our heart and find that expansion. So under a full moon in Leo, we're going to do just that. It could feel very romantic. It could feel like love is in the air. There's a lot going on with the full moon in Leo. Now, full moons are designed, cosmically designed, spiritually designed to purge something, release something, let go of something. So once again, we're going to look in our own natal personal charts. We're going to find where 5 degrees of Leo lands. And that area of life, there's something in there that's being asked to let go of during this full moon. Now we can feel this building this whole week, right? It's going to be exact on Thursday, January 25th at 9:55 a.m. Pacific. And then we can feel it through the weekend too, still really strongly. So we want to let go of something. We want to make space for something new that's more in alignment with our heart. Leo is constantly asking us to go back to our heart, go back to our heart, right? And really operate from there rather than the mind, the intellect, the practical stuff of life. We keep dropping into the heart with Leo, especially under a full moon in Leo. Things can feel really intense and passionate and larger than life. Theatrical, dramatic, drama can come in under a full moon in Leo. So we want to allow ourselves to really be larger than life, feel that big energy under this influence, right? Because it's not always here for us to feel, it's not always at our fingertips. And so allowing this energy to come in and saying yes to the invitation that this big old full moon in Leo is asking of us. Go back to the heart, go back to joy, go back to pleasure. Get rid of what is not bringing that in for you. That could be work, that could be a relationship, that could be your commitments that you've committed to. It's okay to let go of those things, especially under a big old full moon in Leo. We take the risk, we take the exaggerated step, right? Now, this full moon in Leo is also receiving a square from Jupiter. Jupiter just amplifies everything that I just spoke to. a square from Jupiter under a full moon says we're feeling things so expansively and so big, we can overdo it. We can overspend, we can overindulge. Anything that feels good emotionally, we can overdo with a square coming from Jupiter. So I invite you to use moderation. I invite you to think before you jump in. Easier said than done under a full moon in Leo. But Jupiter is like this cheerleader that is just egging us on and asking us to say yes and to take the risk and to overpromise, overindulge, overspend. And then after this aspect is done, we can look back and say, I wish I wouldn't have spent all the money in my savings account, or I shouldn't have overpromised because now I can't deliver, or whatever the thing is that you overdid. So recognize that everything feels larger than life. Everything is amplified with the square coming from Jupiter. And we need to recognize where to say no. We need to recognize where we are already full enough and we don't need to add things to our plate. So just use some moderation with this. It feels good. It's a feel-good energy. We're excited about things. Things look really inspirational and like we want to do the thing. And just make sure that we're capable of follow through with the big thing that we want to jump into and do. So enjoy this full moon in Leo because it really is about generosity and heart expansion and romance and love and your creativity and all the things that really bring you that joy and pleasure. Okay, so enjoy this week leading up to it and through the weekend, and I'll come back next week and check in on you guys.